Okay, today on the workbench we have this robot which was made by Horikawa probably around 1983, Japan. It's mostly tin. You do have plastic arms, plastic head, and the front piece is plastic. But the main problem with it right now is it's squealing, running slow, and I'm not sure if the light up in the gun section is working or not. So I thought we'd open it up, thought you might want to see inside. Nice thing about this particular one, instead of bending a lot of tabs, it's got some screws. Let me turn this light on here. There we go. As you can see, we got some screws. So we're going to start by taking the front off, these screws, and see if we can do the repair just by poking in through there. I imagine we'll take the head off too. I think it's just a couple more screws. I've done a video on the one that I have out in my Robothut collection with the box. I'll put a link to that in the description down below if you'd like to see what the box looks like and what a completely working one looks like. Alright, so we got the front cover off. Now we can see in there, well, what we can see is it's going to be hard to get to the motor, but I can see the very bottom shaft of the motor down there, so I might be able to get oil on that. And that metal pinion gear right there is the top of the motor, so I might be able to get oil on that. And I'm thinking that's mainly what we need to lube up. Now I can see the light sitting right up in here. So we may have to investigate why that is or isn't lighting up. But first, let's see if it's still squealing. Yep, you can hear it squealing. See if we can lube that up enough. I'm trying to get some down into the top of that motor shaft. And I'm going to try to get some on the bottom of the motor shaft. Ooh, okay. Okay, so we got everything going except for the light. So let's see if it looks like I can see one of the wires from the light. Can't really follow the other one here. Let's see if the top of the head does in fact come off with just two more screws. If it does, we might be able to see more of what's going on in there. And one. Two. And let's see what's holding us on now. I believe it's just the head itself. I think if we pull these pins, that pin and this pin, those pins were being held on by the front. But now that the front's gone, they're not doing that. Okay, so yeah, we can get that side of the head off. And we can get that side of the head off. And now we can lift the whole little man and machine part out of the way. And now we can see the grain of wheat bulb there. And I can see that one of the wires, is hanging loose. There's an end. Let's figure out where that end used to go. Looks like the wires are getting down in the gear mechanisms down there. This cam spins around and this wire is in that cam area, and it should be up out here out of the way. Now, question is, were they using the clicker frame to only turn the light on when it's clicking, or was the light just connected across the battery and switch? I think in this particular toy, so they bring the one of the battery connections through the switch. That blue wire then comes down, is going to that eyelet right there to frame ground. Yellow wire is going down to the motor. Yep, yellow wire goes to one side of the motor, the red wire goes to the other side of the motor. And I don't see well, maybe I do. If you look right back on that fiber board right there, I think if the light wire connected on at that point, that's the end of the clicker, then the light should flash only when that clicker is going off and active. So what's going to be the easiest way to do that? Well, this part is in fact tabbed on the front. There's two tabs, and there's a tab right there. If I straighten that one and one over here, then this body should push back and lift off. It could be a little bit precarious because of the weight of the batteries, but it's going to be a whole lot easier to try to solder that wire on, if that in fact is out of the way. So let's see if we can straighten these tabs out a little. They've only been given a slight twist. Not easy to get in there. It'd be easy to twist and lock them back. It's just not easy to straighten them out. Okay. I'm going to get a flat blade and try to pry that up. There we go. Okay. Now we are more or less free, with the exception of the length of the wires. Yeah, now you can see better the back of the clicker, and I believe where that other red wire went. And here's the lift cam that lifts the head part up, and this gear, I think, is what grabbed hold of the wire and ended up chewing it off. Now, I don't know that I can keep this in camera. We'll give it a shot. Let's see if this new little battery soldering pencil can do the job. When you got a tip that small, it can't hold a lot of heat. And that big clicker piece of metal is kind of massive. So it may actually be too demanding for this small of a tip. Now you can get different tips for these, like if you had a larger anvil tip or something like that, the mass of the tip would hold the heat long enough to probably, get the job done. But we'll see. We'll see. I can smell it. I can tell it's getting warm. It's not warm enough yet. It's almost melting the solder. Starting to smoke anyway, which is a good sign. Now, I didn't clean the end of this wire. It looked like it was sticking out of the insulation some. But if it doesn't take solder, then I will have to clip it and try to get down. Now, it looks like it tinned up. And I think the main thing is, if I can get this Okay. Alright, we're going to give that, I'll turn this guy off here. There we go. Let's give this a check and see what we think. I'm not going to be able to hold all of this very conveniently, so let's try to kind of put it back together a little bit, at least the back. There we go. I thought we were going, but we're not. There we go. There's that. There's that. Pop that down. Okay, now it should stay together enough to find out if the light's going to work or not. Oh yeah. Obviously I could use some new V-cells. But that got the light working again. The wires had simply gotten pulled into the gears, ripped off, and I believe I've got the wires routed to the side enough now that they shouldn't get back into the gears. We got the motor lubed up. I don't think I can get any spray cleaner. I'm going to try it. I might be able to get some contact spray cleaner into the motor right there. If I can, that might help it run a little bit faster. I'm going to be using this stuff here. Oops, didn't mean to bump the camera. Let's give it one hose when it's off and another hose when it's on. Alright, that seems better. Let's see if we can't get the head parts back on. I've bent the tabs, the back's in place. Let's see, I believe that has to sit down on there first, right? I lift that up like that, and that up like that, and then let's find those two pins that we pulled out earlier. Let's put those in place, and there. There, and then I think the front holds those pins in place. Like that. Sorry that I'm off camera, but I can't hold it in front of the camera and try to line these screws up. Got it sitting on my lap. If I get a couple of screws started, I'll get it back on frame here as quickly as possible. Haven't gotten two of the screws to line up yet. Still working on that. So I'm not sure what I'm fighting. There we go. Okay, now we got two screws in. Shouldn't be able to fall apart too much now. Three to it. If I get this one to take, there we go. Alright, then we have the ones that were on the back of this head. Okay. Do you like it when they screw together? Oh yeah. So, there you have it. There's your Cosmic Fighter robot. It's made in Japan by Horikawa around 1983. Link in the description down below for a demo of the one that I have out in the hut with the box, in case you'd like to see what the box looks like.